So hi everybody, this video is about surgery. So I've decided I was going to get surgery on my body. Some of you may be thinking sexual reassignment. Well, no. The first surgery I want to get is called facial feminization surgery. So people often talk about SRS and refer to it as a sex change. I sometimes refer to facial feminization as a face change. So there's many doctors, plastic surgeons that have started offering a set of procedures that kind of go together to make your face more feminine. And this is becoming increasingly popular among transsexuals because if you get it done with a good surgeon, then once they're done, it's almost a guarantee that you will pass in public. Because the face, I think, is the most important thing in passing. I think your face is 80 to 90% of your passability, personally. Of course, people will say, oh, there's the voice, there's the attitude, there's what you wear, you know, knowing how to dress, your body, everything. But the fact is, your face is the first thing that people will see when you're walking on the street, when you're going to a store to buy something. You know, people look at you in the eyes and they see your face, and from your face, you know, they make a really quick judgment about your gender, and they do this subconsciously. They don't even have to think about it. You know, you see someone on the street, and you know, in half a second, you've already decided if this person is a man or a woman, and your face plays a big role in that decision, obviously. Now, I've been going out as a girl, and I've been taking shots of me, you know, in makeup and with feminine clothes and everything, and people are like, oh, you totally passed, you should go full time, blah blah blah. Yeah, I guess to many people I do pass, but the thing is, I don't just want to pass when I'm wearing, you know, heavy makeup and everything. You know, I want to be able someday to just wake up one morning, you know, slip on some really boring clothes like the one I'm wearing right now, and you know, go to the store, you know, and pass without even having to really try, because that's what, you know, genetic girls, they do. They don't really have to try to pass as girls, they just do. And that's what I want for myself at some point. There's also the fact that you know, if people can tell, there's always going to be somebody that can tell, even if you're wearing makeup, you know. And it's like right now, if I really try, I think I can probably, you know, pass to 95% of people, maybe. And some people are going to think, wow, that's really good, you know, you can pass to 95% of people, where's the problem? Well, the problem is that would still mean, you know, there's about 1 person out of 20 that can tell that I'm trans or I'm not a genetic woman. And in most cases, that's not a problem. You know, people will have doubt, and they'll look at you a bit weird, and that's mildly annoying, but I suppose you get used to it. But it's, you know, sometimes these people can be more annoying than that. You know, they can make a fuss about it. It can really ruin your day, and it sucks, you know. I'd really like it if at some point I can just pass to everybody, you know, because well, okay, some people will even say, you know, passing is not important at all. You know, the important thing is just living the way you want to live your life. I suppose that's true, but the only way people will treat you as a woman is if you pass as a woman, in my opinion. You know, if people can tell you're trans, even if they're really open-minded, they're not going to treat you as a woman. They'll treat you as a transsexual, and that's not necessarily the same thing, you know. And it's not what I want also. So going back here, I'm saving money to get facial feminization surgery before any other surgery, before breast augmentation, and before even a sex change. I want to live full-time for a couple of years before I really consider a sex change, because in my opinion, it's the only truly irreversible procedure. And breast implants, you know, why not get them now? Well, because first of all, I'm not full-time right now, and second of all, hormones make your breasts grow, and I want to let them grow as much as possible naturally, for a year or two before I really consider my options in terms of breast augmentation, because if I can just have a little bit of cleavage, I think I'll be satisfied. If you just have a little bit of cleavage, you can just wear a push-up bra, and you still look feminine in pretty much any kind of clothing. I don't want to have D's. I don't necessarily want to have C's. If I could just have a good pair of A's or B's, I would be satisfied. And I think I might be able to reach that objective without going into implants. There's also other problems with implants, such as the fact that you need to replace them after a certain number of years. So that means you're spending a good bit of money now on your implants, but down the road in 10 years you might need to replace them, spend that much money again, go through surgery again, several times during your life, and that's something I like to avoid if possible. So getting back to the topic of today, facial feminization surgery. So what is it? Well, plastic surgeons can make changes to your face to make you look more feminine, and there's a bunch of procedures that they can do. I have a small list here on a website of some procedures that they can do. There's forehead reshaping, tracheal shave. That's removing your Adam's apple or trimming it so it's less visible. There's reshaping of the jaw and the chin. A nose job to make your nose more feminine. Injections, I suppose that means Botox or collagen in your lips to make your lips more plump. Facial implants, this usually means either a chin implant if you don't really have much chin, or in the case of facial feminization, cheek implants to make your cheeks more prominent and therefore more feminine. They also have a facelift. Facelifts usually means raising your eyebrows a little bit to try and make them a bit more feminine, less flat. And skin resurfacing, which I suppose is procedures like a dermabrasion to remove acne scars and all that. Because as you should know, men are more prone to having pretty tough acne, and usually acne scars are not considered a very feminine characteristic. So now going into this into a little bit more detail. So what are the difference, between a man's face and a woman's face? Well, one of the most obvious differences, which I guess is actually not that obvious, is the brow bone. Like women, they have their eyes pretty much almost the same level as their eyebrows, right? But if you're male, then chances are your brow bones stick out more. So if you look at me from the side, and yes, I am really not as feminine when you look at me from the side, you can see that this bone here sticks out a lot more than on a genetic female, and I can actually stick my finger under it even because it sticks out so much, and that really doesn't look feminine. And it's annoying because if I want to do like a smoky eye in terms of makeup, it makes it look like my eyes are going in even more, and that really doesn't look good. Well, now the nose, it's kind of obvious, I guess. Females have a smaller nose. Some people have been telling me, oh, you have a pretty feminine nose. Personally, if I had a choice, I'd get it reduced a little bit because I think it's actually pretty big when you look at it from the side. Tracheal shave, I guess that one's also a bit obvious. It's also a procedure I'd like to get. This is to reduce your Adam's apple. My Adam's apple is actually not very visible, but it still is. If I twist my head around, you can still see it sticking out here. And as my girlfriend was saying, if somebody notices you have an Adam's apple, they instantly know, that you used to be a man, because girls don't have that ever, pretty much. The ears, well, I'm personally mostly satisfied with my ears, but I guess some men have really big ears and want to get them reduced. Well, another obvious difference between men and women's face is that the jaw of males is usually a lot more square. I think I have a pretty big jaw, actually. and the chin is also very wide and very tall. Like there's a big distance between the bottom of my chin and my lower lip, and they can reshape your chin to make it a bit smaller and less wide, more pointy, and I think to make your jaw more round. The cheek implants, why would you want that? Well, if you ever look at girls, you know, a very feminine characteristic is that their cheeks are more rounded, you know, like when I smile, they become more prominent and round, you know. Girls usually have this naturally. In my case, even when I've been on hormones for a while, I don't tend to get much fat accumulation here. I think it's a family trait. My mom doesn't have very round cheeks, you know, so maybe I'll get cheek implants, but I'm thinking of probably avoiding it, because then again, I don't like implants. I don't really like the idea that I could have to replace them, and I don't think they look super natural because they don't really move like just real skin, I would say. So what other differences, typical differences, are there between a man and a woman's face? Well, typically men have a more rounded forehead. Like it goes a little bit more round. It goes like this. And females have a more flat forehead, you know. So they can reshape your forehead to make it more flat and therefore more feminine. So that's another procedure I might get if I can afford it, along with the brow bone reduction to make my face look more feminine. And then there's another procedure that's not on this little list, is that often as a transsexual you want to get hair grafts, or well, that's basically to take the hair in the back of your head, you know, hair that is not going to fall, because, well, let me start over. When you're male, your testosterone often provokes balding or receding, which is your hairline. You know, your hair starts normally around here at puberty, and the older you get, the more the testosterone makes that hair fall, and then your head becomes, you know, bald. When you start taking hormones, this balding process is going to stop because your anti-androgens are going to block the testosterone, and it's not going to have that effect anymore. So as soon as you begin taking hormones, this process stops. The problem is this process begins during puberty. So unless you begin hormones really early, the chances are you're not going to have a female hairline. So right now I guess it looks like I kind of have a female hairline, but I'm going to reveal to you a horrible secret today, is that the males in my family, I think they all went bald, you know, and I have that tendency as well. And if I pull my hair up like this, you can totally see that my hairline looks really masculine. You see, it's gone up a little bit, and it's receding here and here, you know. So I can't really tie my hair back and hope to look feminine. You know, I think this looks horribly masculine. And personally, I'm thinking of getting either hair grafts or maybe what they call a hairline advancement, I believe, or a scalp advancement. What they do is they basically take your scalp and they push it forward to bring your hairline more forward like this. Yeah, so those are the procedures that I'm thinking about getting, you know, basically forehead reshaping, brow bone reduction, jaw and chin reshaping, maybe a tracheal shave if I can afford it. I don't think it would be horrible if I didn't get it. And maybe a small nose reduction will also depend if I can afford it or not. Will depend what the doctor suggests to me. I personally would like to go as natural as possible, you know. So I don't really want to do anything over the top. I don't want to end up looking like Pete Burns. If you don't know who Pete Burns is, Google it and you'll see what I mean. I don't want to look like this person. So I want to do things in a way that's, you know, makes me look like a natural girl and more feminine and hopefully more pretty at the end. Yeah, but the thing I haven't discussed yet in this little video is the cost of all this. You know, how much does it cost to get facial feminization? Well, it kind of depends on who you get it with. You know, the top surgeon in the world, I believe right now, is Dr. Austerhout, and he charges something like $40,000 for like the full set of procedures, or even $50,000. That is really expensive. So if you want to get a procedure like that, unless you've had a really well-paying job for a certain number of years, chances are you'll have to borrow the money. I'm personally thinking of going with some less well-known surgeons, and I've heard of one here in Montreal, Dr. Ben Simon, who charges something like $22,000. So I'm hoping to maybe take an appointment with him, and me and my girlfriend are going to go see him and maybe get a consultation, see what he recommends that I get and what kind of prices I can get with him. And I'll keep saving money until I can go finally saving him. Right now I'm about halfway to $22,000. So hopefully by next summer I could have enough money to get this surgery without having to get into a massive amount of debt. So this will be my plan, you know, to save up enough money by next summer, get the surgery during the middle of next summer, and you know, just as I'm finishing my thesis, you know, take like a month off to get the procedure and recover. I have to say it's a pretty intense procedure. You know, they do a lot of modifications on your face. They play with your bone structure. So when it's done, you know, your face is kind of inflated, and it takes a while for all this inflation to go away. From what I've heard, it takes about a full year for the full results to be visible. But from what I've seen, after a month, you know, most of the scarring is done. When they do this procedure, you know, for like the first week after the procedure, you look kind of like a zombie, you know, with like green, red patches of skin and scars and stuff. But that goes away pretty quickly. But it doesn't matter anyways, right? Because if you get this kind of procedure, you're going to spend at least a week in bed anyways. So I think it's manageable to look pretty ugly for a week, and then do something like a month of you know, low profile recovery at home or something. Yeah, so that's my plan regarding FFS. So basically, well, in more detail, I would finish my master's degree by the end of next summer, and I would perhaps give myself a month of time to get this procedure and recover, and then hopefully I would get into a PhD program with another university, and then transfer like in September of 2009 to this other university, and then I would get there and I would be, you know, already full-time with my facial surgery, and then people would hopefully not know I'm transsexual, and hopefully I could be happy in passing and all that. So I hope you found this video educative, and if you look at yourself, you know, and you're thinking, wow, I'm so ugly, I could never transition, I could never pass, then maybe you should look into facial feminization surgery. Because facial feminization surgery, even if you really have a masculine face, you know, can possibly bring you to the point where you can pass and you can look feminine. They can do some really nice work nowadays. And sex change, you know, it's not just about breast implants and SRS anymore. There's a bunch more things that surgeons can do for you, and I think it's worth it. And about the cost, well, it's really expensive, you know. It's like getting a new car. It's that kind of expensive, but I think it can be worth it, you know, because if you're really unhappy with the way you look, and you're really not passing, and it's hurting your career, it's hurting your self-esteem, then maybe getting this surgery, you know, can change your life for the better. And if you think about it, you know, it might be worth getting in depth to get something like this, because really, what's better, you know, having this now and then being pretty happy afterwards, and maybe even, you know, doing better in your career because you're happier and more productive and more confident, or, you know, spending the next 15 years suffering and feeling miserable and feeling like everybody can tell that you don't pass, you know. I think those are options that you have to weigh appropriately, and I think it's definitely worth considering to get that surgery, you know, if you if you want to transition and become full-time, because the $40,000, you know, with the best surgeon in the world, seems like a lot of money, but it's actually not that much money. It's you know, it's the price of a pretty good car, you know, or 1/10 of a nice house. So it's not so bad. So okay, that's it, and hope you've enjoyed the video. See you next time.